Today we're going to discuss how you can get a $20,000 ring for at least $3,000 or less, okay? You might be thinking that's impossible, but I'm going to tell you something. It's totally doable, and in fact, it's fabulous. So if a diamond is a girl's best friend, then gemstones are your sister that knows things.
Yeah, and so the number one thing that will make a biggest difference for people, and so this is people that want a bigger stone, and then I'm also going to say this is for people that want maybe a very elaborate design. The number one thing that can help you is to consider an alternative to a diamond, to a center stone. And we're going to just highlight the top three that our clients seem to like the most.
So today we're going to highlight white topaz, white sapphire, and moissanite.
So moissanite, we often like to think of the clients that seem to like moissanite are often like the romanticists. There's just a lot of warm colors. It's the closest thing to a diamond that is not a diamond, that's a gemstone. Moissanite is mostly a man-made stone. It is found in nature, but it's found in such small quantities that it's not actually mined. But when you take a look at a moissanite and a diamond, to most people, it'll look very similar in the way that they shine and sparkle. One of the things that do make moissanite a little bit interesting too is that it will show off more colors to a degree in terms of how it reflects than you'll find in a diamond.
And I find that a lot of my clients will actually love moissanite because it takes on a very dreamy element. You can see red, blue, purple, yellow, orange, all spectruming out of the stone in a way that you wouldn't see out of a diamond.
Yeah, and so where moissanite's a fantastic stone is definitely for the center stone, or maybe you have a big stone, a big look where there's larger stones on the side as well. Moissanite is a fantastic option to get you an awesome look, but it'll save you a lot of money that you can maybe put into the ring itself. So take a look at this ring. I mean, if you're looking at this ring in a diamond, you're easily looking at maybe like $10,000 to $15,000 out of pocket. And done with a moissanite, however, which is what you are seeing right now, it's going to be done between $2,000 to $3,000, and it's an amazing look, and you're not going to be spending anywhere near like 5-6 times more.
If moissanite is the romanticist, then white topaz is the modernist. Out of all these stones, it is definitely the most pure. You're going to be able to see very internally into the stone, and it's completely transparent.
White topaz is a very interesting stone. It's one of the ones that most people have not seen or considered. And one of the things we have been finding is that the more people see it, and we do like a blind test where we show multiple stones without saying which ones they are, there's more and more people picking white topaz over, let's say, even moissanite or white sapphire or whatnot. And where white topaz is also fantastic is you can get a very large stone for a very reasonable price. So, like for example, if it's like a $20,000 mined diamond, you can get the equivalent maybe in like $200-300 in a white topaz. And where white topaz is really great is for people, especially if there are some designs where, let's face it, it really doesn't look good without a stone of a certain minimum size. And if it's a really elaborate stone where the design is going to take up, let's say, $2,500 of the budget of a $3,000 budget, it's an awesome way to kind of bring everything back together.
White sapphire, the individualist. Out of all these three stones that we've been presenting today, white sapphire is actually the only one that is truly white. It has a sparkle, but you are going to see a lot more white coming out of the stone as opposed to the moissanite or even the white topaz. Now, blue sapphire is probably your most popular, but white sapphire makes an excellent choice.
And one of the key things about white sapphire as well is it's not only the whitest of all three stones, it's along with moissanite, it's the hardest. And that's also something that we want to point out with the stones that we're giving you guys here they're very hard, and that's important because we're not covering something like a Swarovski crystal or a cubic zirconia because they look great brand new, but they're soft, they chip easily. So we're intentionally choosing stones that are very durable. Now, white sapphire, so if you have a $20,000 ring in an engagement ring, then in that white sapphire you could still expect to be maybe in that $3,000 range and get that same look. So here's what we usually find is that take a handcrafted, high quality piece set with lab growns, maybe an alternative stone. It's gonna look a lot better than a mass produced ring that just has diamonds in it for diamond's sake. If you see them side by side, I can guarantee you for most people, they're gonna be astounded by the ring with an alternative, and that's gonna have a much better presence than a ring that just has diamonds for diamond's sake. So don't take our word for it. Here's what we suggest is take a look at what your budget will allow with your dream ring with an alternative gemstone. You know, for the purist in you, you know what, compare it against what you can expect to get with a real diamond. And we say, you know, look at that and you'll kind of figure out for yourself which one makes more sense for you.